It's a random Tuesday. You're half awake, scrolling your phone, thinking about lunch, and then you see the email subject line, "Quick chat, 10 a.m.," and your stomach drops. Because you already know what that means. It's not a quick chat, it's a goodbye chat. 10 minutes later, you're staring at the ceiling doing that thing humans do when they're terrified. You start calculating your entire life in your head. Rent, car payment, groceries, health insurance. And then your brain jumps to the one thing you want to be true. It's fine. I've got crypto. But here's the question nobody wants to answer honestly. If you lost your job tomorrow, would crypto actually save you? Or would it do what it does best and make a bad situation feel even worse? My name is Ben, and I spend way too much time thinking about money. Not the get-rich side of money, the human side. Why some people stay calm during a financial disaster, and why others spiral even when they're doing everything right. If you're the kind of person who wants real clarity, not hype, not doom, hit subscribe and tap like, because this video might change how you think about crypto forever. Quick disclaimer, this is not financial advice. This is risk psychology with real-world logic. Now let's get into it. Most people talk about crypto like it's either a lifeboat or a bomb. But the truth is, crypto isn't automatically either. Crypto is a multiplier. It multiplies whatever situation you're already in. If your finances are stable, crypto can be an opportunity. If your finances are fragile, crypto becomes a stress machine with charts. And the reason people get this wrong is because of something called risk framing. Risk framing is when your brain changes the definition of safe based on your emotions. When things are calm, you think logically. Diversify. Long-term. Don't gamble. But when you're scared, like after a job loss, your brain starts saying, just make it work. Just survive. And that is where people make the dumbest financial moves of their lives. Here's the trap. When you lose your job, you don't just lose income, you lose certainty. And humans will pay almost any price to buy certainty back. That's why people pull money from retirement. That's why people take bad loans. That's why people sell investments at the worst time. And yes, that's why people either panic sell crypto at the bottom or gamble harder trying to win it back. Because when your brain enters survival mode, it stops thinking in years. It starts thinking in days. It becomes, can I survive until next month? Not, will this decision help me 5 years from now? And here's the brutal part. The moment you need crypto to save you is usually the moment crypto is least likely to cooperate. If you lose your job and you need cash fast, crypto doesn't behave like an emergency fund. It behaves like a mood swing. It can be up 12% one week and down 25% the next, and it doesn't care that your rent is due. So if your plan is, I'll sell my crypto if I lose my job, you need to accept something most people never think through. You might be forced to sell during a crash, and that's not a crypto problem. That's a timeline problem. Crypto is long-term by nature. Job loss is short-term by nature. And when a long-term asset meets a short-term emergency, someone gets hurt. Usually, you. So here's the framework that makes this whole thing painfully clear. I call it the job loss survival ladder. And where you are on this ladder decides whether crypto is a tool or a trap. Rung 1 is survival cash. This is the money that keeps your life running for the next 30 days if your paycheck disappears. Rent or mortgage, food, utilities, transportation, minimum debt payments. Nothing fancy, just survival. If you don't have this, crypto is not your backup plan. Crypto is your distraction, because the moment you lose your job, your brain will demand certainty. And if your only safety net is a volatile asset, you're not investing anymore. You're gambling on timing. Rung 2 is breathing room. This is 2 to 3 months of basic expenses. Not because you plan to do nothing for 3 months, but because you need space. Space to think. Space to apply for jobs without panic. Space to avoid taking the first terrible offer just because you're desperate. Because the biggest danger after losing a job isn't just running out of money. It's making one desperate decision that creates a chain reaction. You take a bad job, your stress spikes, your performance drops, you lose momentum, you start borrowing, then you sell investments, then you're stuck. Breathing room breaks that chain. Rung 3 is stability. This is 3 to 6 months saved. This is where your life isn't balanced on a knife edge. And only here does crypto start behaving like what people want it to be, a long-term wealth tool. Because now you're not forced to touch it. You can let it do what it's designed to do. move in cycles. Up, down, sideways. Chaos, then recovery. The problem is most people try to hold crypto while living on rung 1. That's like riding a roller coaster while your seatbelt is optional. Now let's get into the part that actually decides your outcome. What's more dangerous after job loss? Having no crypto or having crypto you're emotionally attached to? And I know what you want the answer to be. You want it to be having no crypto, but that's not the real danger. The real danger is emotional attachment. Because when you're emotionally attached to an asset, you stop treating it like a tool. You treat it like your identity. And when your identity is under pressure, like during job loss, you will do irrational things just to avoid feeling stupid. You'll hold when you should sell. You'll sell when you should hold. You'll double down when you should step back. You'll chase losses because your ego can't accept reality. That's loss aversion. And it's one of the most expensive emotions humans have. People don't panic because numbers go down. They panic because a drop in price feels like a drop in self-worth. It becomes, I'm not just losing money, I'm losing the story I told myself. The story where crypto was going to save you. The story where you were early. The story where you were smarter than everyone else. And when that story collapses at the same time your job collapses, that's where people break. So if you want crypto to ever help you in a job loss scenario, you need rules that protect you from yourself. You need a seatbelt system. First seatbelt. Crypto cannot be your emergency fund. If you don't have survival cash and breathing room, you don't get to treat crypto like a backup plan. That's not a moral statement. That's physics. So before you touch another coin, ask one boring question that changes everything. If I lose my job tomorrow, how many months can I survive without selling anything? Not, how bullish is Bitcoin? Not, what's the next altcoin? How many months can you survive without selling? Because that number tells you the truth about your foundation. Second seatbelt. 2 buckets. Bucket 1 is survival and stability. Emergency fund, bills, basic life. Bucket 2 is growth. Long-term investing, upside, optional risk. Crypto only belongs in bucket 2. The moment crypto slides into bucket 1, it stops being growth. It becomes gambling. Third seatbelt. Decision preloading. This is where you decide what you'll do before you're emotional. Because if you wait until you lose your job, your brain will be in survival mode. And survival mode doesn't follow plans. It follows fear. So you decide ahead of time what too much crypto looks like for you. Here's the simplest test I know. If crypto dropped 50% tomorrow and you'd still sleep fine, your allocation is probably okay. If crypto dropped 30% and you'd start sweating, checking charts, and doing math at 2 in the morning, your allocation is too high. Notice what that's measuring. Not your intelligence, your stability. Because crypto doesn't reward smart people the way people think. Crypto rewards patient people, and patience is impossible when you're financially cornered. So what happens if you actually lose your job? The smartest move usually isn't sell everything, and it's definitely not trade your way out. The smartest move is boring. You reduce cash burn, you protect runway, you extend time. Because time is what lets you make good decisions. And crypto, ironically, is a game that rewards people who have time. The people who do best in crypto aren't the ones who perfectly predict tops and bottoms. They're the ones who can just sit there. No panic, no desperation, no forced selling. So let's answer the title honestly. If you lost your job tomorrow, would crypto save you? Only if you're already built in a way where you don't need it to. Because crypto doesn't save you, your foundation saves you. Crypto only amplifies what you already built. Now before you go, do the thing most people won't do because it's uncomfortable. Leave a comment with one answer and be honest. If you lost your job tomorrow, how long could you survive without touching your crypto? 1 week? 1 month? 3 months? And here's the second part, the part that tells the truth. Would you actually stick to your plan? Or would you panic sell the moment the chart turned red? I want to know. Because most people don't lose money in crypto because they chose the wrong coin. They lose money because they chose the wrong mindset. If this made you think, hit like, subscribe, and share it with the friend who keeps saying crypto is their backup plan. And if you're brave, answer that question in the comments. Because the answer you give is basically your financial stress test. And once you see it, You can't unsee it.